Hey guys, in the next 10 seconds, you're going to see an episode for a very popular brand called Tile. And I'm really excited. We just finished it. So I saw Lorenzo's idea. His second idea is really good, which of course is at the end of the show. So you'll have to stick around. And he actually talks about um, turbocharging use cases. And I think this is something that would be very applicable for your businesses as well. And I actually have some copywriting work I've done for this episode. So I think you'll see value. Stick around and write a comment, and we'd love to get your input. Enjoy the show. Hey guys, welcome to another episode. Lorenzo, nice to see you again. And I think this was your pick, Tile. You are a big fan of Internet of Things products, right?
I am. I'm a sucker for Internet of Things products.
And I think you're a fan of it because I think you believe it gives you the retailer a whole different level of series of insights about consumption, correct?
Yeah, this is what my bonus idea that only the newsletter subscribers are gonna get. I won't spoil it obviously for them, but I'm a huge fan of that.
Awesome. So we're talking about a product called Tile, and it is essentially an external tag that you can add to any device. I guess your luggage. You can add it to your purse, backpack, whatever it is. I'm sure they've evolved because I don't remember this being the shape. Maybe this is a new product, but this is their Tile Premium, and it's $35. It's a powerful tracker. It's a pro tracker. You get in a bunch of colors, but you also get a bunch of color combinations. And then they talk about the benefits of premium. And then there's a description over here. And then there's a bunch of images, lifestyle images to show how to actually use the product, which of course makes sense. So you can see it's with the backpack over here. Then they've got some FAQs, not a lot, but they got a few FAQs. And then they've got 118 reviews. Have I covered everything?
Yeah, let's get into the ideas, dude.
All right then. So I don't think I'll be able to emulate that over here, but I'll show you, and I have a screenshot of it as evidence, but I'll show you the basic issue. So the first idea is that the discount appears too soon. So this is a very common e-commerce practice where you come on a page and maybe it's based on time, maybe it's based on scrolling 2 inches, whatever it is, there's a discount that appears. Now, this actually poses a real challenge for the buyer. And I actually cover all the ways in which it's a challenge. So the first thing is that I haven't read your description at this point. And so I don't know, or I've seen the review. So I don't know if this is the product I'm looking for. I understand and I respect the fact I'm super excited. I'm getting 15% off my first order, but I don't know what the damn product's all about yet. I can't read the description because the damn pop-up is blocking my way, right? So over here, I have to close the pop-up, and I'll explain to you why that's a problem. I can't close the pop-up because I am not sure how easy it'll be for me to actually get the pop-up again. Now, Lorenzo and I are marketers, so we know how retailers work. But the average consumer, my grandma, does not know that, closing the pop-up means it'll come back again. So it's a risky proposition for her. So I'm going to just share with you a very simple solution. I've never seen this on an e-commerce website. Maybe they know something that I don't know. So all I've done is a very simple thing. I've just put a minimize button over here. So you come to the pop-up and you're like, okay, I'm interested. I'm just not interested this very second. You minimize it and it kind of stays floating over here or something, Yeah. So again, Lorenzo, I don't know if there's a reason why they don't do it. And I understand maybe they feel that, if there's only one option, then your user has no choice but to give that email. But to me, it seems problematic where I can't get it out of the screen. So I can at least read the damn I want that 15% off, but I want to first read the description.
What if by just closing it, it minimizes?
And that would work fine as well. But I do think in terms of like communication, I do think there's some value in showing something that people recognize as being this is not going away. I know that the retailer is trying to add urgency, but not to that extent where I'm now stuck, and so anyways, that was my,
it's super funny because I'm working on a research presentation for a client, and this is exactly the idea I gave him. Not with the minimize symbol, just with the X, that when closing the pop-up, it stays as a float on mainly on the desktop, because on mobile there's a lot of other stuff going on. So one recommendation I would have for people is, if you have, let's say, like live chat or another widget, it might be a little bit tricky for the user to have so many widgets, floating around on mobile. In desktop, desktop might work because maybe you have like a side widget that you can use. But on mobile, it might be a little bit tricky if you have already a lot of.
Actually, I've thought about this. So this is actually a very, I'll just mention, it's a side topic, or I'll mention it very quickly. I think it's very important to have a hierarchy of importance. Think about what the user, when the user is clicking minimize, what is the user telling you? The user is saying that this is important to me. So if I had like 15 different, floating elements, first of all, don't fucking have 15 elements. But let's say I had 15. If I only could pick 2 things, I would pick this in that scenario, not in all scenarios. If someone clicks to close, then the user is saying it's not important to me. So I think it's important to have a hierarchy. So you can say, if you, for example, have, if you have, I don't know what those icons might be, but I don't think we need to make that trade-off that says we need to have all the floating icons. I think we should allow the user to, based on their behavior, decide what's important. So to me, I would actually prioritize. If someone clicks on minimize, it would automatically be a signal that I need to prioritize this icon. So don't clutter your screen, but remove something else in place of this if they click that minimize option. So the second problem is that what happens is that, and this is very typical user behavior, is that when a user encounters a red flag, our reasoning is that, hey, they'll explore the website, they'll understand what the details are, and they'll resolve their question. This is not how users behave. When they encounter a red flag, they freeze. They literally freeze, and they don't look further. They just literally freeze. So I'm going to show you a red flag. So on my screen, this was literally a screenshot of my screen. The screen ends over here, right? There is this, I came to the website looking to buy a product. I wasn't looking to buy a subscription plan. And they say it's a free subscription plan with 1 year subscription plan. This is a great offer, but to me, the word subscription is a red flag because it implies that at some point I'm going to have to pay after a year. And so I got stuck here. And this was a real, I was not even thinking about the user. I was actually thinking about my own behavior. This is a real problem for me. There's no context for what this means. Now, on the page, lower on the page, they actually do explain over here, but this is not visible in my view. So how the hell am I supposed to know that? So I have a very simple solution for that. All I've done is I've made this a link. And when you click on it, it just scrolls you down to this part. That's it. Simply scrolls down to this part. And
I had the same idea.
Good.
But I didn't include it.
That's good. Then now the watchers are going to get an extra bonus idea. And let me just get to my third idea. So this is a really important point as well, is that when a user comes to the website, they are looking, I'm assuming they have done a search or they've seen an ad I'm assuming that the sales pitch that brought them in was not that, hey, we also are going to sell you a subscription plan. It was like, we'll sell you a product. So I come in looking for a product. I'm not expecting an upsell. And this is a problem. And so what happens is that usually when a user is shown, like, for example, if a client comes to me and says, I'm looking for help with conversion optimization, and I say, hey, dude, not only will I do conversion optimization, I'm also going to paint your car for you. The first reaction is, I reject that offer. I don't want that offer. I just want the conversion optimization offer. So the problem is that what happens is that I feel, and again, I'm speculating here, is that the user is not interested in this. So they will probably want to click on remove premium. Now, when you click remove premium, as you can see on the live website, if you click on remove premium, the brand is very, very obedient. They get rid of premium, but they don't actually make a sales pitch when you take that action. So my idea is to show this message. And I'll actually explain to you the whole construction of my sales pitch. So the first thing I'm doing, I'm acknowledging the fact that $29.99 is a lot of money. So I say spending an extra $30 per year might seem like an unnecessary expense. Here is something I'm allowed to share. 61% of people who buy Tile choose the subscription plan, which is free for the first year. I'm really emphasizing this free for first year message, but I'm also showing some social proof by saying 61%. Of course, I'm making this number up. With the plan, which again, I'm making some fun by saying with the plan, which again is free for the first year, we proactively notify you. It said if Tile items are left behind, I cut out the word if and I said when, because you're definitely going to lose your stuff. Our data shows customers use this feature 145 times a year. That's 145 times we are saved from looking for something when we were already late. Because most people lose stuff. Like I look for stuff when my wife says, hey, we got to go, right? I'm like, shit, where's my phone? Right. So I'm just trying to like further dramatize the fact that think about the pain of losing something 145 times a year. And then I emphasize this point, and this is only available with the annual plan, which is free for the first year. Again, reminding them it's free for the first year. If you do lose something, we'll pay you $100. And then I say $29.99 a year is reminding them it's actually $299 a month. And then I ask them, did the explanation help you? If people say no, then I know that the sales pitch sucked, and I'll keep on working on it till it works.
My favorite, I mean, this pitch is amazing. I freaking love it. But my favorite part of that pitch is when you talk about, when you say our data shows customers use this feature 145 times a year. Because what you're doing there, not only you're actually creating social proof, but what you're doing is you're basically telling people that is very, very, very common to be in a situation where they're losing things, but they might not even remember, like they've never actually counted how many times so it's almost like, oh my God, I thought it was like, potentially it was like 30, but it's like, oh my God, it's actually much more. So now what you're doing is you're making the pain even bigger for them, because maybe they're like, oh yeah, I do lose stuff, but I've never actually thought about counting the times, right?
Right. Perfect. Yeah. Now that's exactly. Now, again, I just want to give a warning over here. Please don't look at this copy as being literal. We're not saying that if you use this copy, it'll magically improve conversion rates. You have to kind of apply it within context for what is appropriate for your business model and your product. But it's just a template that you can use and may want to modify, depending on your needs. So Lorenzo, it is now over to you, my friend.
Yeah, let's do it. My first idea is, I call it, how does it work? So let's talk about, in general, the main problems that Internet of Things products have, right? So like in this example, the value of the device doesn't really actually come from the device, but it's to connect the device with the app, right? And when you're looking at the device, you're like, okay, this is great, this works, but the value, when you look at the value when you're actually looking the device connected with the app and what the device does once it's connected with the app, right? The other thought I had is, well, a lot of people buy Tile as an additional kind of like model, like maybe they bought a model in the past and they want to kind of like upgrade, but a lot of other people are buying this for the first time ever. So this is the first time they are coming across the concept of that, because they're not buying like a cologne that existed for years, right? This is a new concept, even though this is like 10 years old product, a lot of people might have no idea how this is actually working. I also looked at the Amazon Q&A section, and I found a lot of questions related to what the product does and doesn't do. So my solution to that is add a product video demonstration call to action. And the section where I place it, so if we're looking at control here, there's this section where they're actually displaying the different contexts where the product can be used, right? So what I thought was, well, this is exactly where the user is seeing already some images where the product is being used. So I simply added a call to action that says, see Tile Pro in action. I even put the number of seconds of the video to show that they're not going to, be watching 30 minutes video and get stuck, and maybe they're in line, right? And then the play video button. But like actually playing the video works in both scenarios. If I click on the play symbol icon, but also if they click on the link. And then when clicking on it, there's just simply, you know, few seconds of that shows how the product works in relation to the app. So like, for example, how you're able to like click a button in the app and call the phone, and also the opposite, right?
That's great. Yeah.
Now, you know, one objection that people might have is like, well, but I have to come up with a video. I have to create a video. I have to spend money. I have to spend time creating the video. Well, I actually have a solution to that. And you can create what I call a minimal viable test or experiment, however you want to call it. And what you want to do is you go on YouTube, you type in tile reviews. Now you've come across like, you know, dozens of websites. Then what you want to do is you want to download the video, the YouTube video. You know, you can scroll and look at like the best ones, but they're all pretty good. You download the video that you picked, and then you edit just the part that shows the product, that demonstrates the product in action. And then what you want to do is you just reach out to the influencer and say, hey, we're planning to put this video for an experiment on the site. Do you mind if we use it?
That's great.
And then, you know, based on the result of the test, now you build the case to go to your boss or to get more budget to actually create.
I love it. And people are consuming so much video that it just it's just a no-brainer, right? So, and this is, you know, again, we're talking about purchase. It's not like people are moving from another tracking app, Bluetooth tracking app to Tile. Most people are probably buying a tracking physical product for the very first time. So they don't even know how it works. They don't know how, you know, they don't know anything about it. And it's difficult and cumbersome to read a description when the video is so much more. This is why infomercials work. This is the whole business model of QVC is based on demonstrations.
Well, not all the products make sense for demonstration, right?
Right.
But in this case, the product is a new concept. Again, you're not buying a microphone, right? You're not buying a light. You're buying something that has never existed until a few years ago.
Correct.
Then my second idea, I called it more visibility to different contexts where people can place the Tile Pro. So the main problem here I realized I came across is that if we look at control, in the above the fold section, we only have one product image, and it's actually just the image of the product. And also the other product images here are quite below in the page, and they require you on mobile, they require you to click on these dots, which, you know, if you're here, you barely see them because you're concentrating on
absolutely. I totally
else, right? The other thing, that data point I have here is that in my reviews mining analysis, I have created this theme called context. And basically what I put here is the list of all the different contexts where people use Tile. And as you can see, there's a lot of different things on the keys, on the phone, wallet, remote control, and so on. So my solution to this is actually creating just below, let's go back to control, just below the product image, I created like just simple copy where it says, see different ways you can use Tile Pro. And then the way I did it here is similar to what Instagram has at the moment. If you go in the search icon on Instagram, they have that list of all kind of like tiles of categories that you're interested in. So it's the same kind of concept. So I stole the concept from Instagram. And so now we're showing all the different contexts where people can use Tile on. And when clicking on one, I actually have the same in the next screen. When clicking on it, I basically display the image. And you can, like, let's say these guys have a lot of images about different use cases and contexts, right? So now you can actually select multiple images for each context. So I just added some arrows here that the user can click and see more images about how the product looks like on car keys, and the same for the others, right? On the wallet, remote TV remote, and so on. And one thing that I put here, which is actually a small detail, but it's very important. There's a lot of other context that I want to that I showcase here, but I want to make sure that people see that. So what I added is simply like an arrow that shows people there's more to it.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, great.
That's
great.
That's all I got. I have again the bonus opportunity, which talks about some additional insights of the Internet of Things business model. But this is just for the newsletter subscribers. So if you are interested in learning more, just subscribe to our newsletter. You're gonna get some the bonus.
Yeah, this is really good. I especially like your second idea, and I think both the ideas are really good. And I think really it's the way I kind of think about it is that they need to have again I want to just emphasize this point to the audience is that don't think about these ideas in very literal terms. You have to be able to contextualize them for your business. But for a product like Tile, it is a utility, right? It is not a product that has a very specific use case, right? It's a platform that you could use for many things, which means that the more variety of use cases you can show me, the higher the probability I will see value in it. And so looking over here, for example, I may not have thought about pet collars as use case. And suddenly that has increased my desire by 5%, which crossed the threshold of purchase. Like you need to get the user to a certain threshold for them to say, you know what, I'm just going to buy this product. And they might be very close to that threshold. By showing them use cases, you're actually pushing them over the line. So it just totally makes sense. What Tile should do, if I was Tile, especially with the volume that they have, I would actually have one full-time employee whose only job is exploring use cases. So they are basically emailing customers and saying, tell us about a way in which you use Tile that is absurd, because that is going to give you lots of insights on how people are actually using the product. And then you can kind of, you can convert those use cases into use cases videos. You can convert them into stories and all these different mediums. You can even kind of make it into a game that, like learners. So if you go back to your concept real quick, again, I'm not trying to overcomplicate this, but you could show like 15 different use cases, and then maybe in the 16th tile, you can say we have 5 more use cases to show you. Give us your email address and we'll send it to you. And now you've captured someone's email, because who got to 16? Someone who's like hyper engaged, but skeptical, totally. Right? They're not convinced to buy.
True.
So anyways,
yes, I actually want to say 2 things about what you just said. So first of all, let's say I'm talking about like 2 potential use case of visitors that land on the site. So use case number 1, I'm seeing a Facebook ad about using the product for my keys. I land on the site and I'm like, oh my God, I can actually use the product for a lot of use cases, right? So now all of a sudden I came in because the image of the keys caught my attention, but the actual value I'm seeing is much higher. Second thing, maybe I've seen this from a friend or family member that they use it for, again, the keys. I come in on the site and I'm seeing, 10 other use cases for the same thing. So now these $34.99, which before was anchored to I use it for the keys, becomes that $34.99 becomes much smaller and for such a more wide use cases. The last thing I want to say is that one of the best use cases I've seen people mentioning in the reviews is putting Tile in the luggages when they are at the airport. And what they do when they're literally on the plane, right? They check if the luggage is in the plane or not. So now they know if their luggage is going to be on the plane or if they forgot to do it, right? Which I thought it was oh my God, I've never thought about that.
That's right. That's awesome. No, that's really cool. That's really cool. Yeah. So I think this is great. Let's wrap up this episode. We will see you guys again with yet another brand in the next couple of days. Ciao.